Good evening. There's nothing you need to do now but let this voice reach you and let the day begin to loosen its hold. You've arrived here in the dark, in your bed, and that's already enough. You don't have to make anything happen. You don't have to try. In fact, over the next while, I'm going to ask you to try less than you may have tried in a long time. Let me say clearly before we begin what this is and what it isn't. This is a calm, guided session based on the principles of CBT-I, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which is the first-line gold standard approach that sleep specialists reach for again and again. But a recording is not a doctor, and this is not medical advice, not therapy, not a diagnosis, and not a cure. It's psychoeducation and a gentle wind-down, nothing more and nothing less. If your sleep troubles are severe, or they've gone on, or something in you feels genuinely wrong, please bring that to a doctor or a sleep professional. You deserve real care, and this is only a companion for the night. Let that settle any part of you that came here looking for a promise. I'm not going to promise. I'm only going to walk beside you for a while. And maybe you're here because something has been keeping you up. Maybe earlier tonight or on some other long night, you found yourself whispering into a search bar, "Why can't I sleep?" Or "How do I turn my brain off?" Or "Why do I keep waking at 3 in the morning and lying there and not being able to get back down?" Maybe you searched how to stop my mind from racing when I'm exhausted but wired. If any of that is you, then you're in the right place and you can stop searching now. There's nothing more to look for tonight. You've already found the only thing you need, which is a slow, steady voice and permission to let the whole effort go. Because here is the strange truth at the center of insomnia, the truth that CBT-I is built upon. Sleep is not something you can do. It isn't a task you can complete, or a muscle you can flex, or a problem you can solve by pushing harder. Sleep is something that arrives on its own when the conditions are right and the body feels safe enough to let go. And the more you chase it, the more you grip and strain and demand it of yourself, the further back it steps, the way a shy animal retreats from a grasping hand. So much of chronic sleeplessness is simply this, the effort to sleep, becoming the very thing that keeps sleep away. Trying hard works for almost everything else in life. It's one of the few places where it turns against you here. So tonight, we're going to practice the opposite of trying. And I want to give you 2 simple ideas to carry with you, drawn straight from the way this therapy works. Not as homework, not as anything you need to hold tightly, just 2 quiet ideas that can change your whole relationship with the night. The first idea is about your bed. In CBT-I, one of the strongest, most reliable tools is called stimulus control, and underneath the clinical name is something very human. Over months or years of difficult nights, a bed can quietly become the wrong kind of signal. If you've spent enough hours lying here frustrated, watching the ceiling, calculating how little sleep is left, then some deep part of your nervous system has learned to associate this place, these sheets, this pillow, this particular darkness, with being awake and worried rather than with rest. The bed becomes a cue for effort, a cue for vigilance. And so night after night, you lie down and something in you subtly switches on, braces, gets ready to struggle before you've even had a chance. The gentle work then is to teach your bed a new meaning, to let it become, once again, a cue for sleep and for sleep alone. And the way that's done is almost absurdly simple, though it takes a little patience. You keep the bed for sleep. You protect it. You don't bring the day's problems into it. You don't lie here for a long stretch fighting to sleep. You don't turn it into an arena. And if on some night you find yourself wide awake and clearly not drifting, awake long enough that it's turned into effort, into that familiar frustrated churning, the instruction is kind and counterintuitive. You get up. You go somewhere else, somewhere dim and quiet, and you do something undemanding until you feel that first heaviness of real sleepiness returning, and only then do you come back. Not as a punishment, not as a failure. As a way of keeping the promise that this bed is a place for sleep, so that your body can learn to trust it again. Now tonight, I don't want you thinking about getting up. I say all this so you understand the principle and so you feel the pressure lift, because knowing that you always have that option, that you're never trapped here, that lying awake is not a trap you're locked inside, is itself a relief. Tonight, more than likely, you'll simply drift, and you won't need any of it. But the door is there. You're not imprisoned in wakefulness. And that quiet knowledge, that you're free to rise and free to return, is part of what lets the shoulders come down. The second idea is about your thoughts, and it's the one that matters most for a racing mind. Because I suspect that's why many of you are here, not so much that the body won't rest, but that the mind won't stop. The thoughts keep coming. The replays, the rehearsals, the lists, the what-ifs, the sudden vivid memory of something embarrassing from years ago, the tomorrow that hasn't happened yet arriving fully formed at 1 in the morning. And the harder you try to shut the mind up, the louder it seems to get, because trying to not think about something is itself a kind of thinking about it. So we're not going to try to stop your thoughts. That's the key. We're not going to fight them or empty your mind or force it blank. That never works, and you already know it never works because you've tried it on 100 nights. Instead, we're going to change your relationship to the thoughts. This comes from a strand of cognitive work, sometimes called defusion, a slightly technical word for something you can feel very simply. Fusion is when you're so tangled up inside a thought that you can't see it as a thought at all. It just feels like reality, like truth, like a thing happening to you. Diffusion is the small, freeing step back where you notice, that's a thought. My mind is offering me a thought right now, and it's just a thought. It doesn't require my belief. It doesn't require my response. It can be there, and I can let it be there without climbing inside it. Think of the difference between being swept along in a river and sitting on the bank watching the river go by. Same water, same current, same restless movement. But in one, you're drowning in it, and in the other, you're simply watching it pass, noticing without grabbing. Tonight, when a thought comes, and thoughts will come all night, that's what minds do, even in sleep. You don't have to jump in. You can let it float up, and let it float on, and let the next one come, and let that one float on too. You are not your thoughts. You are the quiet space in which the thoughts appear and dissolve. And that space is already sleepy. That space has been tired for a long time. There's one more piece, and it's the softest of all. The thought that torments the sleepless most is the thought about sleep itself. If I don't sleep, tomorrow will be ruined. I have to sleep now. It's already so late. I can't function on this. This is one of those catastrophic little stories the mind tells at night, and part of this work is learning to hold those stories more gently, to question them without arguing, because the truth is kinder than the story. One imperfect night is survivable, you've survived many, and here you still are. Rest by itself, even without sleep, is worth something. Lying here warm and still, letting the body soften, is not nothing, is not wasted, is genuinely restorative even before sleep arrives. And your body knows how to sleep. It has slept every night of your life in some measure. It is not broken. The knowledge is still in there, underneath all the effort, waiting for the effort to quiet down enough for it to surface. So you can loosen your grip on tonight. It doesn't all rest on this. Nothing is riding on the next hour. There's nowhere to get to. There's only here, and the dark, and the breath, and this slow voice, and the long, soft descent that's already beginning. So let that be the frame for everything that follows. We're not trying to sleep. We're setting down the trying. We're letting the bed be a place of rest, letting the thoughts drift by like a passing river, letting go of the story that this night has to be anything in particular at all. And from here, we simply lower ourselves, degree by degree, into stillness. And if sleep comes to meet us on the way down, so much the better. And if it takes its time, that's fine too, because there is nothing to do now but sink. Let's begin with the simplest thing there is. The weight of your body on the bed, not doing anything, not adjusting anything, just noticing that the bed is holding you. Underneath you, the mattress is taking your full weight and it doesn't need any help. You don't have to hold yourself up. You don't have to hold yourself together. For these next hours, there is nothing to carry and nothing to keep aloft. The surface beneath you is doing all of it, patiently, completely, and all you have to do is let it. Feel, if you can, the places where your body meets the bed, the back of the head, the shoulders, the length of the spine, the hips, the backs of the legs, the heels. And in each of those places, imagine or simply allow a small letting go, a handing over, the body settling 1 more millimeter into the support that's already there. And your breath, let's not change it, not yet. Let's just find it. Somewhere in the body, the breath is moving on its own without any instruction from you. It has been breathing you all day, all your life, while you were busy with 1,000 other things. Find it now. Perhaps at the nose, a faint coolness as the air draws in, a faint warmth as it leaves. Perhaps in the chest, a gentle rise and fall. Perhaps lower in the belly, a soft swelling and softening. Wherever you feel it most easily, just rest your attention there, lightly, the way you'd rest a hand on the flank of a sleeping animal, feeling it move. You don't have to breathe deeply. You don't have to breathe in any special way. This isn't a technique to master. It's only a place to put your attention, somewhere quiet, somewhere rhythmic, somewhere that asks nothing of you. And each time you notice the out-breath, you might let it be just slightly longer, slightly slower, slightly more complete, the way a long sigh empties the chest at the end of a long day. The out-breath is the body's own signal for safety. When you breathe out slowly, something deep in the nervous system hears it and understands. We are safe now, we can stand down, the watch is over. So let the out-breaths lengthen on their own, without forcing, each one a small releasing, each one a little further down. Breathing in quietly, and breathing out longer, softer, letting go. Breathing in, no effort, and breathing out, sinking. There's no counting to keep, nothing to get right. Just the tide of it moving through you, carrying you gently down with each ebb, each release, each slow surrender of the air. And if your mind has already wandered off somewhere, if a thought has already come and pulled you along, that's completely fine. That's the river doing what rivers do. The moment you notice you've drifted, you're already back. You don't have to scold yourself or start over or do anything at all except return softly to the breath, to the weight, to the warmth of the body in the bed. Wandering and returning, that's the whole of it. And each return is itself a small settling, a little deeper than before. And now that the breath has found its own slow rhythm, let your attention widen just a little to the temperature of the air. There's a coolness on the surface of you, on the cheeks, perhaps on the backs of the hands, wherever the skin meets the open air of the room. And there's a warmth held closer in, under the blankets, along the trunk of the body, in the hollows behind the knees, in the soft place where one hand may be resting near the other. Notice the meeting of those two things, the cool and the warm, the line where they touch. This is one of the quiet ways the body prepares for sleep. It lets a little heat leave the surface, from the hands and the feet especially, and as that warmth drifts outward, the core cools, and the cooling core is another of those old, wordless signals, telling the deep machinery of the brain that the day is truly over, that it's safe to loosen the reins. So you don't have to make anything happen. It's already happening. The hands are already warming. The feet, under their cover, are already letting their warmth spread out into the dark. And all of it moves in the same direction that you're moving, down and slower and further in. Let that warmth in the hands become something you can almost follow. Imagine, if it helps, and only if it helps, that the warmth is very slightly heavy, the way sun-warmed sand is heavy, or the way warm water is heavier and lower than cold. And that gentle heaviness begins in the fingertips and pools slowly into the palms, and from the palms it seeps up through the wrists, unhurried, with nowhere to be. There's no rush in it at all. It moves the way honey moves off a spoon, in its own time, thick and slow and golden. Up through the forearms now, that heavy warmth, softening the muscles it passes through, so that the arms grow too heavy to lift, too comfortable to move, sinking a little deeper into the bed as they let go. And you needn't do this by effort. You're only allowing what the body already wants to do at the end of a long day, to set the arms down fully and leave them. And the same slow warmth is rising through the feet now, from the soles, from the toes, up through the ankles, filling the calves like water finding its level. The legs growing heavier and warmer and quieter. And with each slow out-breath, that sense of weight climbs a little, the knees loosening, the long muscles of the thighs giving up their last holding, the hips widening and settling, so that the whole lower body feels as though it's being drawn gently downward, into the mattress, through the mattress, held and heavy and warm and done. There is nowhere you need to be tomorrow that requires anything of these legs tonight. They can rest completely. They can be as still and as heavy as stones on a riverbed, with the cool water moving over them and the current moving on without them. Now let the sound of the room come to you, not to listen hard for anything, just to let whatever sound is there arrive on its own. Perhaps there's a faint hum somewhere in the walls, the small electrical breath of a house at night. Perhaps there's the sound of the air itself, or of your own breathing, or a stillness so complete that it seems to have a texture of its own, a soft grain to the silence. Whatever it is, let it be the outermost edge of your world, a wide, quiet room of sound with you resting at the very center of it. And notice how sound, at night, seems to come from further away, softened, rounded at the corners, none of it urgent, none of it asking for you. If a sound comes and goes, a car far off, a settling of the floor, a wind against the glass, let it pass through you like weather, arriving from nowhere, leaving toward nowhere, and each one oddly taking you a little deeper as it fades. Because a sound you don't have to respond to is a kind of permission. It says, the world is going on perfectly well without your attention. You are not needed at the controls. You can let your hands slip from the wheel. And this is the quiet truth we've been circling all along, the thing this bed is slowly learning to tell you. That sleep is not something you do. It's something you allow. It isn't a task to be completed or a performance to be judged, and it has never once, in the whole history of the body, arrived because someone tried harder to make it come. It comes the way dusk comes, not because the day pushes it, but because the day stops holding the light. And all of your letting go tonight, all of this warmth and weight and slow breathing, is really just you gently stopping holding the light, not chasing sleep, not reaching for it, only lowering yourself degree by degree into the place where it's already waiting, the way it waited for you every night when you were small and never once had to be found. So let the bed be simply the bed, this soft, warm, weighted place where the body is held and the breath moves slow and the sounds drift by from far away. Not a place where anything has to be figured out, not a place where the day gets its final review or tomorrow gets rehearsed in the dark. Those things can be done elsewhere in the daylight, by the daytime version of you, the one with a chair and a window and the energy for them. Here in the dark, in the warmth, there is only this, the rise and the fall, the cool and the warm, the wait and the letting go. Little by little, night after night, the bed becomes a cue for exactly this softening, this downward drift, so that in time your body begins to answer the pillow the way it answers a yawn, automatically, gratefully, without being asked. You don't have to build that tonight. You're only laying down one more quiet layer of it, right now, simply by being here and letting go. And if somewhere in you there's still a small watchman awake, a part that's checking, is it working, am I asleep yet, how much longer, let's give that part something kind. Because it isn't your enemy. It learned at some point that sleep was worth worrying about, and it has been trying to help you the only way it knows how, by keeping watch. So we won't argue with it. We'll just let it rest too. You can tell it without words that its shift is over now, that there's nothing on the horizon tonight that needs a lookout, that the doors are locked and the fire is banked low and everyone who needs to be safe is safe. And you can let it come down from its tower and sit by the low fire with the rest of you and warm its hands and close its eyes. It's allowed. Even the watchman is allowed to sleep, especially the watchman. Let's follow the breath down one more layer, not counting, still, only noticing how much slower it's grown, how much less of it there is, how each in-breath seems to ask for a little less than the one before, and each out-breath seems to sink a little further before the next one gathers. There may be, at the bottom of the out-breath, a small pause now, a still place where nothing moves, where the body simply rests in the emptied quiet before it breathes again. Don't reach for the next breath. Let it come to you on its own whenever it's ready, and rest in that little pause. That pause is the shape of sleep, that still, unhurried, nothing required place at the bottom of the breath. That's the doorway, and it opens a little wider every time you don't rush through it. Now imagine the weight of you spreading out, as if the boundary of the body was softening at its edges. Where the shoulders meet the bed, it's getting harder to tell exactly where you end and the mattress begins, the line between them going soft, blurring, the way the line between the sand and the sea goes soft where the water thins out flat and shining over it. The back of the head, heavy on the pillow, sinking, the pillow rising warm around it, the edges dissolving. The whole long back of the body melting into the surface beneath it until there's no clear seam anymore, no sharp outline, just a warm, heavy spreading sense of resting, wider and looser, and less defined with every slow breath out. You don't have to hold the shape of yourself together tonight. You can let the edges go. You can spread out into the dark like warmth into water and be held and be formless and be fine. And the face, we so rarely let the face rest. Let the forehead go smooth and wide, the small muscles between the brows unclenching, the place where the day gathers its thinking going soft and blank. Let the eyes rest heavy in their sockets, no need to hold them, no need to aim them anywhere. Behind the closed lids, they can roll gently downward, the way the eyes do at the edge of sleep, giving up their grip on the day. Let the jaw hang, just slightly, the back teeth parting, the tongue soft and low in the mouth, the whole hinge of the jaw releasing a tension you might not even have known you were carrying. And the space between the eyebrows and the small muscles around the mouth and the tongue and the throat, all of it going loose and warm and unguarded. When the face lets go, something in the mind lets go with it. They're closer to each other than we think. A soft face makes a soft mind, and the mind is already softening now, already going out of focus, already more interested in the warmth and the weight than in any thought that tries to hold it. And thoughts will still come, of course they will. That's not a sign of anything going wrong. A mind makes thoughts the way a fire makes sparks. It's just what it does, and it does it whether you're anxious or perfectly calm. So there's nothing to fix. If a thought floats up now, some fragment of the day, some small worry, some errand, some old scene replaying, you can let it float right on past, the way a leaf floats past on slow water, turning gently, going where the current takes it, none of your business to follow. You don't have to push it away and you don't have to climb aboard. You can just watch it come into view and watch it drift out of view again and stay here on the bank, warm and heavy and still. And you may notice that the thoughts themselves are getting stranger now, looser, less connected, a face that doesn't belong, a place you've never been, a sentence that doesn't quite finish, an image with no reason behind it. That drift, that soft nonsense, that gentle coming apart of the thinking, that's the mind beginning to dream at the edges. That's sleep moving toward you. Let it come. Let the thoughts go loose and odd and untethered and follow none of them and simply keep sinking. Down another layer then, warm hands, heavy legs, the slow tide of the breath and the long pause at the bottom of it. The soft face, the blurred edges, the wide, quiet room of sound holding you at its center, and the whole weight of you handed over, completely, to a bed that is holding you and asking nothing back. There's a kind of trust in it, isn't there, this letting go, the same animal trust that lets a creature lie down in the open and close its eyes, because some deep part of it knows it's safe enough now to stop keeping watch. You have that in you too. It's very old. It was there long before the worries were, and it's still there underneath them, patient, waiting for you to stop holding on so that it can take over. And it's taking over now. With every out-breath, a little more of you passes into its keeping. You don't have to steer, you don't have to try. You've done the only thing that was ever yours to do. You lay down, and you let the light go dim, and you allowed it. The rest happens on its own. Feel how the body has grown quieter than it was even a little while ago, how much heavier the arms have become, how far away the feet seem now, warm and forgotten at the bottom of the bed, how slow the breath, how soft the face, how little there is, anywhere in you, that's still holding on. And notice that you don't have to keep track of any of it. You can let go even of the noticing. You can let the attention itself grow loose and drift, the way a boat drifts when the rope is untied, no longer pointed anywhere, just turning slowly on the wide dark water, further and further from the shore of the day. There's no shore you need to reach. There's only the drifting, and the dark, and the warmth, and the slow water carrying you. And the dark itself, let it be kind now. Not empty, not a nothing to be afraid of, but soft and full and close, like a blanket for the eyes. The dark behind your closed lids is the same dark that has covered every sleeping thing since the beginning, every child, every animal, every tired body that ever lay down and let the day end. You belong to that dark tonight. You're one more resting thing under the wide, quiet cover of it, and it holds you exactly the way it has always held everyone, without judgment, without conditions, asking nothing, only covering you over, gently, and letting you disappear into it for a while. Let yourself disappear. It's allowed. You'll be here in the morning. For now, you can simply not be, for a little while, no name to hold, no day to manage, no self to keep together, just warmth and weight, and the slow tide of the breath going out, and out, and out. And out, and there is nowhere the breath has to go, and nothing it has to bring back. It simply leaves, the way warmth leaves an open hand held toward a fire slowly, without any loss, because there is always more where it came from. You can breathe like that now, as if breathing costs you nothing, as if the air moves itself and only passes through you on its way somewhere it already knows. You are not doing the breathing anymore. You are being breathed. Something older and steadier than your effort has taken the rhythm from you, the way it takes the rhythm of every sleeping chest in every dark house tonight, rising and falling on its own, needing no one to remember it. Let a new heaviness find you now, not the heaviness of the arms or the legs, which have already gone soft and distant, but a heaviness deeper in, somewhere behind the ribs, where the day is usually held. Feel it settle there. A warm, low weight, like a stone that has been sitting in the sun all afternoon and has taken the whole of that warmth into itself, and now holds it and gives it slowly back. That warm stone rests in the center of you, and around it everything loosens. The small tightness you carry without naming it, the place between the shoulders that has been braced so long it forgot it was bracing, the jaw, the narrow band across the brow. One by one, they remember how to be soft, the way a fist remembers, when you stop asking it to be a fist, that it was only ever a hand. And you don't have to make any of that happen. That is the thing worth knowing, the thing your body is learning tonight even as you drift past knowing it, that the softening is not a task. It is what is left when you stop the holding. It was always waiting underneath. All that was ever required of you was to lie here in the dark and let the bed take your weight and stop. And you have stopped. Whatever the day asked of you, it is not asking now. Whatever tomorrow will ask, it is not asking yet. There is only this long, dim, unhurried middle of the night, and you, resting in it, wrapped and warm and going nowhere, with hours and hours still ahead of you before any light, a great, generous stretch of darkness, with nothing in it that you have to do. Somewhere far off, if you listen, the night has its own small sounds, not sounds that want anything from you, just the quiet machinery of the dark keeping on. The faint settling of a house easing into itself as the day's warmth leaves the walls. The hush of air, perhaps, somewhere, rain, or the memory of rain, or wind moving through something too far away to name. And every one of those sounds is a sound you don't have to answer. Let them arrive and let them pass, the way you'd let the weather pass on the far side of a window, noticed, maybe, for half a moment, and then released, no more yours to hold than a cloud is yours to hold. Each one that comes and goes can carry you a little deeper. The far sound arrives and you sink. It fades and you sink further. The night is on your side. Even its noises are only lullabies wearing plainer clothes. And here, in this warm and heavy quiet, let the bed become what it is slowly, night by night, becoming not a place of effort, not a place where you lie and wait and measure and worry over the waiting, but simply the place your body has learned to let go. That is the whole of it. That is the quiet work being done underneath all of this, patiently over many nights. The bed turning back into a cue for sleep, the way a chair by a window becomes a cue for rest, the way an old song becomes a cue for a season of your life. You are teaching the deep, wordless part of yourself a simple thing, that when this weight comes down onto these sheets, when this warmth gathers and these edges blur, what follows is sleep, not striving, not the long, anxious arithmetic of the hours, only this. Softness and dark and letting go, and then sleep, arriving on its own as it is arriving now. You don't have to believe it tonight for it to be true. You don't have to feel convinced. The learning happens below all that, in the body, in the nerves, in the slow, patient wiring of a habit, and it happens whether or not you're watching. In fact, it happens best when you're not watching at all, when you've handed the whole matter over and drifted off the way you are drifting now, and let the lesson teach itself in the dark. So there is nothing here for you to get right. There is no part of this you can fail. Even the nights that feel like waiting are laying down the same quiet groove, and you are already, tonight, further along it than you were, further into the ease of it, deeper into the trust that this is a place where you are allowed to stop. Let the stopping spread now wider than before. Let it move out from that warm stone behind the ribs, out along the slow rivers of the arms, down into the hands, into each heavy finger, until the hands are so far away and so at rest that they might belong to someone else, someone sleeping in another room, someone you needn't think about at all. Let it move down through the hips, which give up their last holding and pour their weight straight down into the mattress, held, completely held. Down the long heaviness of the legs, warm and loosening, the knees soft, the calves soft, all the way to the far and forgotten feet, warm at the bottom of the bed, like two stones at the bottom of a slow, warm current. And let it rise, too, up the length of the spine, one soft link at a time, each one settling into the next like a strand of beads laid down gently on cloth, until the neck lets go of the head entirely and gives its whole weight to whatever holds it, and the head grows heavy as a ripe and drowsy thing, sinking, deeper into the softness beneath it. And the face last of all, because the face holds on longest, the small muscles around the eyes that have watched all day, the ones at the corners of the mouth, the fine ones across the forehead that carry so much without ever being asked. Let them all put their burden down. Let the space between the eyebrows go wide and smooth. Let the eyes rest back into their own darkness, heavy, quiet, done with looking. Let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth and lie easy. Let the jaw hang just slightly loose, the teeth apart, the whole lower face gone slack and peaceful the way a face goes when sleep has already taken it and the person no longer knows they're being watched over. That is the face you're wearing now, the sleeping face, the one that comes only when every guard has been laid down. There is a warmth that gathers over you as all of this lets go. You may have felt it beginning, a kind of low, even heat that rises through the whole body once the holding stops, the way heat comes up off a field after the sun has gone but the ground still remembers it. That warmth is the sign of the letting go. It means the small muscles have surrendered, the fine tension has drained, the body has finally believed it. Let it pool. Let it collect in the belly and the chest and the heavy backs of the legs. Let it wrap the shoulders like something soft and worn and familiar, some old blanket kept for years because it has exactly the weight the body wants. And under that warmth sink, not down toward anything, just down and down into the deep soft place that has no floor, the place where thoughts arrive already half dissolved and drift off before you can finish them, where a word begins and turns halfway through into something wordless and strange and gone. Because you may notice that beginning again now, the thoughts coming loose from their meanings, the pictures arriving on their own, uninvited, following no line you laid down for them, a face you didn't summon, a room you've never been in, a scrap of something that makes its own quiet sense for a moment and then unravels. This is not your mind failing to rest. This is your mind resting. This is the very texture of falling asleep, the loosening of the thread that ties one thought to the next, and the more of it you feel, the closer sleep is. So don't take hold of any of it. Don't try to make the pictures into a story, and don't push them away either. Let them come and let them go, the way you'd let snow come down past a lamp, countless and soundless, and none of it needing to be counted. Each drifting thing that passes through the dark of you is one more sign that you are sinking exactly as you should, and you can let every one of them carry you further from the shore. And if somewhere in the night, a thought arrives that is heavier than the others, one of the old worries, one of the ones that used to wait for you here in the dark and stand over you and demand to be solved, you don't have to fight it and you don't have to follow it down. You can let it be just one more thing passing through, no more solid than the rest, no more owed your attention than the far sound of the wind. Because you know something now, underneath, that you didn't always know here in the dark, that the night is not the place to solve anything, that nothing thought at 3 in the morning is ever as true as it feels, that the mind at this hour makes mountains out of what the morning will show to be small, ordinary hills. So the heavy thought can come, and you can look at it the way you'd look at weather, from a warm room, through glass, and let it pass on by without going out to meet it. It will be lighter in the daylight. It always is, and the daylight is a long, long way off, and there is nothing between here and there but sleep. Let that be a kind of permission. There is nothing to be decided tonight, nothing to be fixed or planned or turned over one more time in the dark. Whatever is unfinished can stay unfinished until the light comes, and it will keep, and you will meet it then with a rested mind, which is the only kind of mind that ever meets anything well. For now, all of that is set down, set outside the door, left at the edge of the water. And you are here, in the warm middle of the dark, with no task but to sink, and you are sinking, and it is enough, and you are allowed. Feel how much slower everything has become. The breath, barely moving now, so shallow and so easy it hardly stirs you at all, just the faintest rise, and the long, slow settling that follows, and then the wide, still pause at the bottom where, for a moment, nothing moves and nothing needs to. Rest in that pause. That still place at the bottom of the breath is the closest thing to sleep the waking body knows. That small, complete stopping, that little taste of the deep. And each time it comes, you can stay in it a heartbeat longer and let it widen and let the next breath wait and wait until it comes on its own without any asking. You are so close now. The border is right here. You have been drifting along the edge of it for a while, and you can cross it whenever you like, or let it cross you quietly without your ever knowing the moment it happened. And when it takes you, you won't notice. That's the mercy of it. There is no gate, no threshold you'll feel yourself step over. Only this slow blurring, this softening of everything, this gentle coming apart of the day, and then at some point you'll never be able to name, the last thread simply loosens, and the watcher in you closes its eyes too, and there is no one left keeping track, and you are asleep. It may be soon. It may be happening already, the words growing farther off, harder to follow, less like meaning and more like the low sound of a voice heard through a wall in a house where you feel safe. You don't have to hold on to the words. Let them blur. Let them go on without you. They ask nothing of you now but to be a low warmth in the dark, a hand on the back, a sound that means you are not alone here and you can let go. So let go a little more. There is always a little more to let go of, some last thin thread of holding, somewhere, that you can feel loosen if you stop looking for it. The small residue of the day in the shoulders, the faint readiness in the body that has spent a lifetime being ready. Let even that dissolve. You don't need to be ready for anything. Nothing is coming. The night will keep on quietly around you, The dark will keep its long, soft watch. The walls will hold. The hours will pass without your having to move them, and you will simply rest, and rest, deeper and deeper into a sleep that asks nothing and gives everything back. Let the warmth cover you over. Let the weight press you gently down. Let the far sounds fade until they are only a texture in the dark, a softness at the very edge of hearing, no longer even sounds, just the grain of the quiet itself. And let the slow tide of the breath keep carrying you out, and out, past the last of the thinking, past the last of the noticing, into the wide, warm, dreamless dark where there is nothing left to do and no one left who has to do it, only rest, deep and long, and the long night still ahead, holding you the whole way through. And should you rise a little at some point toward the surface, the way sleepers do all through the night, drifting up for a breath before sinking again, you needn't come all the way up, and you needn't be troubled by it. Waking a moment in the night is not the night going wrong. Every sleeper does it, over and over, and most never remember by morning that they did. So if you find yourself, for a breath, a little nearer the surface, just feel again the weight of the body in the bed, the warmth gathered under the covers, the softness of the dark against your eyes, and let those be the signal they have quietly become, the signal that says, "This is the place where we let go." And you will slip back down as easily as a stone slips back under still water, hardly a ripple, back into the deep, where the rest of the night is waiting for you, patient and warm and long. There is so much night left. That is the gift of this hour, not the thin, anxious ration of sleep you may have feared, but a whole broad country of dark still ahead, unhurried, in no danger of running out. You could sink for hours yet. You have hours to spend and nothing to spend them on but rest. So spend them slowly. Let there be no urgency even in the sleeping, no sense that you must hurry down or hold the depth or make anything last. It will last. It is made of time you cannot use up by resting in it. Sink at whatever pace the body chooses. Drift at whatever depth it finds. The night will meet you there and keep you, however deep you go, for as long as you stay. And the body knows how to do this. That is the last thing to lean back into, that under all the years of trying, under all the nights you lay here and worked at it and willed it and waited, the plain animal fact remains that your body knows how to sleep, has always known, was born knowing, and needs only for you to stop standing in its way. And you have stopped. You have handed it the night. It is doing now what it has done through every dark since you were small and someone laid you down and the world went soft and you disappeared without effort into morning. It remembers all of that. It is doing it now. All you have to do is let it, and you are letting it, and it is carrying you down, gently, past the reach of these words, into the deep and simple dark where sleep already has you and holds you, and will not let you go until the light. So let the words thin now. Let them come slower and softer and farther apart, with more dark between them, more quiet, more room to sink. Let each one be a little lower than the last, a little farther off, until they are less like speaking and more like the sound the night itself might make if the night could murmur to something it was keeping safe. You don't have to listen. You don't have to follow. You are already most of the way gone, already more asleep than awake, already down in the warm and heavy dark with almost nothing left holding you here. Let that almost become nothing. Let the last thread go, and sink, and rest, and stay. And while you lie there so far down now, let something new drift in from the edge of the quiet, not a thought, nothing that asks anything of you, only the plain awareness that all around you the house has gone still. The rooms beyond this one are dark and empty and holding their own kind of rest. Whatever waits out there, the doors, the walls, the ordinary things standing where you left them, none of it needs you tonight. None of it is asking. The whole house has lain down around you like a larger body around a smaller one, and it keeps its own quiet watch, so that you don't have to. You can let the listening go. You can let the being ready go. There is nothing to be ready for. The night has closed over the house, the way water closes over something set down gently on the bottom, and everything in it, including you, is simply being held. And underneath the house, the ground, the old, patient ground that has held every house and every sleeper that ever stood upon it, that does not tire and does not shift and asks for nothing. Feel, if you can feel it, how far down the holding goes, the bed held by the floor by the beams by the walls by the earth, and the earth by nothing you need to name, resting on its own vast, slow turning. You are the smallest thing in that long stack of holding, the softest and the most cared for, cradled at the very top of it, and every layer beneath you is doing its quiet work so that you can do none. You are carried by all of it. You have only ever had to lie still and be carried. And the turning goes on. Slowly out past the walls, past the roof, the whole dark world is wheeling toward morning at its own unhurried pace, carrying you with it, the way it carries the sleeping fields and the sleeping water and everything else that has laid its burden down for the night. You are part of that turning now. You are moving with it without moving at all, drifting toward the far side of the dark at exactly the speed you are meant to, no faster, no need to hurry, no way to be late. The morning will arrive when it arrives, and it will find you already rested, already restored by the long, slow hours you are only just beginning to spend. There is no clock in this. There is only the turning and your breath, and the warm weight of you settling deeper into the place that holds you. Let the breath grow even quieter now. Not made quiet, you are far past making anything, only allowed to find its own smallest measure, the shallow, easy rhythm of a body that has no work left to do. You may notice it has already changed, already slowed past anything you would arrange on purpose, the breath of sleep beginning to breathe you before you are all the way asleep. Let it. Let the breathing be something that happens to you now, like weather, like tide, something you are inside of rather than something you do. Each slow breath is another small handing over, another loosening of the last light threads, and there is nothing you need to keep hold of, nothing you must not drop. Drop all of it. The breath will go on without your help. It always has. And should a thought still surface, because a mind, even a mind this far down, will now and then throw up one last small thing, some fragment of the day, some scrap of tomorrow, let it arrive and let it go the way you'd let a leaf land on still water and drift on across it, touching nothing, leaving no mark. You don't have to push it away. Pushing is effort, and you are done with effort. You can simply let it be there, weightless, uninteresting, already floating off toward the edge and over it, gone. The thoughts that come this late are not summons. They are not the mind asking you to get up and solve anything. They are only the last few embers of a fire that is going out on its own, and you can lie here and watch them dim without tending them, and they will dim, because that is what embers do when no one feeds them, and you are feeding nothing tonight. You are only lying still and growing warm, and letting the fire go down to ash, and the ash go cool, and the whole hearth of the mind settle into dark. There is a kind of warmth that only comes this late. You may feel it now, gathering slowly through the deep of the body, in the belly, along the spine, behind the breastbone, a low even heat that has nothing to do with the covers and everything to do with a body that has finally, completely, stopped bracing. All the small holdings you carry through the day without knowing, the faint set of the jaw, the readiness in the shoulders, the quiet clench somewhere under the ribs that you have held so long you stopped feeling it, all of it is loosening now in the warmth, one fiber at a time, softening the way something stiff softens near a low fire, without your doing anything but staying near. Let the warmth find each of those old held places in its own time. You don't have to go looking for them. The heat will reach them. It is reaching them now, slowly, the way warmth spreads through still water, finding the cold places last and gentlest, and where it arrives the holding simply stops, and the part that was held goes heavy and sinks and joins the rest of you in the deep. And the heaviness keeps deepening. It is remarkable how heavy a resting body can become, heavier than you would ever guess from the weight it carries through the day, as though sleep adds something, pours some slow, dense quiet into the limbs until they lie in the bed like something laid down and left, like stones warmed by a whole day of sun and set down at dusk to hold their heat through the dark. The hands heavy, the arms heavy and far away. The legs so heavy now they feel less like yours than like part of the bed, part of the ground, part of the great stack of holding beneath you. Even the face has gone heavy, the small muscles around the eyes let loose at last, the brow smooth, the mouth soft, the whole familiar face you carry into the world simply resting, expressionless and easy, wearing nothing, arranged for no one, the face of someone already mostly gone into sleep. There is no one to look at you. There is nothing to compose it for. Let it be as slack and as plain as it wants to be. Let it be the face of the sleeping. And in a little while, not yet, but soon, and you don't have to wait for it or watch for it, even this voice will be more shape than sense, a low warmth moving somewhere at the edge of the dark, and you will not be following the words anymore, you will only be near them, the way you might be near the sound of rain against a window from deep inside a warm bed, hearing it without listening, comforted by it without knowing what it says. That is where you are going. That is where you are nearly already. And when the words have thinned to nothing but that far-off warmth, you will not notice their leaving, because you will be gone ahead of them, down under the rain sound and the dark, into the place they were only ever meant to walk you to and leave you. So there is nothing left to arrange, nothing to attend to, nothing to keep watch over, nothing to fix or finish or hold in place until morning. The house is holding itself. The ground is holding the house. The night is holding the ground and turning it slowly toward a light that is in no hurry to come. The breath is breathing itself. The warmth is doing its slow work in the deep of you without a word from you. And all of it, every layer of it, is arranged so completely around your rest that your one task, your only task, the last small thing that was ever yours to do has already been done. You have let go. You did it some while back without a ceremony, without quite noticing, and it held. The letting go held. And now you get to have what is on the other side of it, this, just this. The long warm dark and the wait and the quiet and the hours and hours still to come. Let yourself want nothing from them. That is the deepest ease of all, deeper even than the warmth, to lie here wanting nothing, not even sleep, not even the depth you are already in. To have set down even the wish. Because the wanting was always part of the wait, the wanting was the last thing standing between you and the dark, and you have set it down now, and see how much lighter the lying here becomes, how much less there is to hold, how the very wish to sleep dissolves the moment you no longer need it, and leaves behind only the sleeping itself, plain and near and already underway. You are not trying to get anywhere. There is nowhere to get. You are already in the only place tonight was ever going, and you have hours to be here, and nothing to do but be. Feel how the edges of you have started to blur. The clear line where the body ends and the bed begins is not so clear anymore. It has softened, gone uncertain, the way the shoreline goes uncertain in fog, so that you could not quite say now where you stop and the warmth around you starts. This is a good blurring. This is the body loosening its grip on its own outline, letting the boundary go soft, the way it must go soft before sleep can close all the way over. Let it blur further. Let the sense of having edges drain slowly away until you are less a shape lying in a bed and more a warmth spread through a warmth, a weight settled into a larger weight, a quiet folded into the enormous quiet of the house and the ground and the turning dark. There is such relief in it, in not having to be a distinct and bordered thing for a while, in getting to simply diffuse into the night like heat into water, and rest there, dissolved, held on every side by something that will keep its shape while you let go of yours. And time, too, is coming loose. You may have already lost your place in it, not knowing, if you stop to wonder, how long the voice has been speaking, or how long you have been lying here, or how much of the night has passed. Let that stay lost. Let it get more lost. The not knowing is itself a kind of sleep, the mind releasing its grip on the count of the hours, the way it releases its grip on everything else this late. And you do not need the count, you were never helped by the count, and tonight you get to set it down. There is no hour here, there is no how long. There is only the slow procession of warm, dark moments, each one complete, each one asking nothing of the one before or the one after, and you are somewhere in the middle of a great many of them, unhurried, unmeasured, unaccountably safe. Somewhere far off, the small sounds of the deep night go on without you, a settling of the house as it cools, a stir of air, the faint nameless sounds that a quiet place makes when everything in it is at rest, and each of them, rather than pulling you up, only presses you a little further down, the way a familiar sound heard from inside sleep folds smoothly into the dark without waking you at all. You have nothing to decode, nothing out there needs answering. Every small sound is only the night keeping itself, going about its slow business of holding you, and you can let each one arrive and pass and leave you lower than it found you, until the sounds themselves are just texture in the dark, just the grain of the quiet, nothing you are separate enough anymore to hear. And your breath, still slowing, has almost nothing left to do. It has grown so shallow and so even that it barely stirs you now, the smallest tide going in and out at the very floor of you, and between the breaths there are little pools of stillness, wider than before, where nothing moves at all, and it is in those pools, in the still spaces between one slow breath and the next, that the sleep is welling up. Let it well. Do not breathe to fill the gaps. Let the gaps grow. Let the stillness between the breaths spread and join until the breathing is just a few soft marks at the edges of a great calm. And the calm is most of you, and the calm is where you live now, and it is rising, slowly, to close over the last of the waking like water rising with no sound over something set gently down to rest. There is nothing to reach for on the far side of this, no task waiting just past the sleep, no morning you must get to, no version of you that has to be assembled by dawn. All of that can be handled by the day when the day comes, by the rested and ready person you will be then, and that person is being made right now, quietly, in the dark, in the warmth, by nothing more than your lying here and letting the night do its long work in you. You do not have to help build the morning's self. You build it by resting. You are building it now with every heavy breath, with every degree the warmth deepens, with every thread you let slip. And the surest way to give tomorrow everything it needs is to have wanted nothing from tonight but this slow sinking, and to have let it take you all the way down. So down you go, not falling, there is no fall in it, nothing sudden, nothing to catch yourself against, only a settling, a slow continuous giving way, like snow settling on snow, like silt drifting down through still deep water to lie at last on the soft floor and stay. You have been settling all this while. You are settling still. And there is no bottom you need to reach, and no depth you must be sure of. Wherever the settling brings you is deep enough, is exactly deep enough, and the night will hold you there and go on holding, however far down the soft dark takes you, for all the long patient hours it has kept in store. Let the voice grow farther off now. Let it fall behind you like a light left burning in a window of a house. You are drifting slowly away from across dark water, still there, still warm, no longer near, no longer needed. You do not have to keep it in sight. You do not have to keep anything in sight. Let it dim and let the dark come forward and fill the space where it was, the good dark, the deep dark, the dark that has been waiting all along at the bottom of the night for you to come down to it and lie still and let it close. And it is closing. Softly from every side without a sound, the dark is closing over the last small brightness of you, the way the surface of still water closes and smooths and forgets that anything ever went down through it, until there is only the calm dark surface above and the warm dark deep below, and you somewhere in the deep, dissolved into it, held by it, past the reach of the words, past the reach of the hours, past the need to do anything ever again tonight but rest and go on resting farther down. And softer and slower, into the long warm quiet that has you now and will keep you until the light. And there is nothing more you need to do now, nothing to follow, nothing to hold, nothing to understand. The work of the night is not a thing you do, It is a thing that happens to you while you lie still and allow it, the way warmth happens to a stone left long in the sun, the way stillness happens to water when the wind at last lies down. You have allowed it. You are allowing it now. And that is all that was ever asked of you here, not effort, not trying, not the old bracing against the dark that used to keep you up. Only this. Only the lying still and the letting go and the slow giving of your weight to the bed that is holding it. The bed is holding it, all of it. Every ounce of you given over and taken up, so that there is nothing left for you to carry, nothing left for you to hold up out of the dark. You can feel how completely it holds you, how little of you is still your own to manage. The head heavy and given, the shoulders wide and given, the long weight of the back and the hips and the legs all given down into the softness and kept there, kept warm, kept still. And what a small and simple thing it turns out to be, in the end, to sleep. Not a wall to be climbed, not a thing to be earned or chased or gotten right, only a letting down of the weight you were never meant to hold all night. Only this. Your bed is becoming, quietly, a place your body knows means rest, not effort, not watching, not the long argument with the ceiling, but this warmth, this weight, this slow sinking. It learns it a little more each time you come here and let go like this, and it is learning it now, tonight, without your help in the dark, the way a path is worn soft by nothing more than the passing over it, again and again and again. You do not have to teach it. You only have to lie here and let it happen. And it is happening. Your body is learning the way down. Let the breath go on without you. It does not need you now. It has been breathing you all this while, slow and low and even softer with each pass, and it will go on doing that long after you have stopped listening, drawing the calm in and letting the last of the day out quietly, on its own, in the warm dark, with no one watching it and nothing left for it to do but carry you gently down. You can stop listening to it now. You can let even that go. Let the breath breathe itself, and let you fall behind it into something deeper. And if a thought should drift up out of the dark, some small last flake of the day, some worry, some plan, some quiet why am I still, let it come and let it go, the way you have let go of everything else tonight. You do not have to answer it. You do not have to follow it up out of the warm. It is only a thought, only whether passing high over a country where you no longer live, and it will move on across the dark and be gone, and leave the sky quiet again, whether you tend to it or not. So do not tend to it. Let it pass over. Let it thin and dim and drift off the edge of you and be gone. There, already gone, and you still here, still sinking, still warm. Nothing is wrong. Feel how nothing is wrong. This is the true news your body has been trying to reach all along, under all the noise, that here now in this warm dark, in this held stillness, there is nothing wrong, nothing to guard, nothing to solve, nothing coming that you must be ready for. The muscles that spent so long braced for something can lay it down. They are laying it down. The jaw and the brow and the small tired places around the eyes and the long guard line of the shoulders, all of it softening, all of it giving up the watch, all of it agreeing at last that it is safe to stop. It is safe to stop. It is safe to sleep. There is nothing left tonight to stay awake for. So let yourself go the rest of the way. You are most of the way already. You can feel it, that thickening of the dark, that pleasant far-offness in the limbs, that way the voice keeps arriving a little later and mattering a little less. Do not pull back from it. Let it deepen. Let the far-offness spread up from the hands and the feet, through the arms, through the legs, into the warm, heavy center of you, until there is no near part of you left, until all of you is far off and soft and easy and gone. That is not a thing to fear. That is the sleep, coming up around you the way the tide comes up around something laid down at the water's edge, slow and warm and sure, and asking nothing. And it will keep you, trust that it will keep you. Through all the dark hours it will keep you, and if you should stir or surface or half-wake somewhere in the deep middle of the night, you will find the warmth still here, the weight still here, the dark still soft and close around you, and you will only turn and settle and sink again, easily the way you are sinking now, because your body has remembered the way down and will not lose it. You do not have to hold the night together. The night holds itself. And it holds you. Down now, a little farther down. There is always a little farther, and it is always softer there, and warmer and quieter, and you can always go. Let this last thread of listening lengthen and thin. Let the words come loose from their meanings and become only sound, only a low, warm murmur far off in the dark, no more to be followed than the sound of rain on a roof, or wind in a far tree, or water moving somewhere below a house at night. A sound you can rest against without hearing, a sound that means only that all is well and you may sleep. All is well and you may sleep. Let the voice go now. Let it drift off across the dark water and grow small. You have everything you need already here in the warmth, in the weight, in the slow tide of the breath. You carry it all down with you, and none of it depends on the voice, and the voice can go. Let it thin to almost nothing. Let it be the last small light on a far shore behind you, and then let even that dim, and then let it be gone, and let there be only the dark, and the warmth, and the deep, and you, sinking, kept, and quiet. There is no more to do. There is no more to know. There is only down and warm and soft and slow, and the long dark holding you, and the hours ahead all yours to rest through, one after another, unhurried, unbroken, until the light. And the light is a long way off, and you need not think of it, not now, not yet, not for hours and hours of good dark sleep. So rest, just rest, farther down, softer, slower. The warmth deepening still, the weight complete, the breath low and far and slow, breathing itself, breathing you, needing nothing from you now. Nothing to reach for, nothing to hold, nothing to keep in sight. Only the dark, coming forward gently from every side. Only the warm deep, opening under you and taking you down. Down, and softer than that. Let go of the last of it now, the last small holding, the last thin thread, let it slip. There, gone, and you falling behind it into the warm, into the quiet, into the long dark that has you now. It has you now. Rest. Sink. Let the dark close. Softly from every side, without a sound. Warm. Heavy. Fun. Gone into the deep, and held there and kept. Rest now. Rest. Down. Softer. Slower. Still. Van stiller. The breath far off, the warmth all through, the dark complete. Nothing to do. Nothing at all. Only this. Only downs. Only warmth. Only dark. Rest. Deeper. Softer. Gone. Sleep now. Sleep. Down into the long, warm quiet. And the dark holds you. And keeps you. Until the light. Sleep. Sleep.